Hello, everyone, and welcome back to these Doctor Who reviews. Today, we are going to be opening up season 5 of the classic television show featuring Patrick Troughton, Deborah Watling as Victoria, and Fraser Hines playing Jamie, who later this year, hopefully during Chicago TARDIS, I might be able to go get his autograph on my Faceless Ones DVD. Here's hoping, fingers crossed. Anyway, on another note, today we are going to be opening up season 5 with one of the best stories and one of the most well-renowned stories. It's called Tomb of the Cybermen. Now, obviously, Tomb of the Cybermen is about the Daleks. Jokes aside, this is a pretty great Cybermen story, and I have been told, I'm going to need to recheck my sources, this is actually Matt Smith's favorite story, and, or at the very least, I know this for sure, Patrick Troughton was his favorite Doctor, and apparently this story was like allegedly so good when he was like watching these old stories to prepare for his role. He apparently called Stephen Moffat, the new showrunner at the time. He called him up to tell him how great it was. It was like 1 in the morning, it's a pretty funny story. It might not have happened, but I really hope it did because that's so funny and absolutely an 11th Doctor thing to do. Let's dive right into the story. Before we begin, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share to a friend who might like Doctor Who, and if these kind of things appeal to you, like I said, turn on notifications and subscribe so that you never miss one of these. I at least do one of these every single day. Let's dive right into it. Anyway, this story is, like I said, a Cyberman story. It's the only 4-parter of where everything else is 6-parters. You can imagine how maddening that's going to get for me, because I'm not even on Abominable Snowmen, and I'm already pretty behind. Anyway, pity parties aside, this story is honestly really great, and there's an interesting little historical factoid about it. That historical factoid is that the story was actually pretty much missing from the archives until 1991, and this is something that I actually rediscovered. I'm sorry, I learned it just today, when reading about Revenge of the Cybermen. I read that so many fans are hoping for Tomb of the Cybermen to be the one to get the VHS treatment way back in the 80s. They were hoping it was going to be the first VHS release, but unfortunately it was missing from the archives and then discovered again in 1991. So they had to settle for one of the crappiest Cybermen stories ever, if not the weakest story, except maybe Silver Nemesis, but even Silver Nemesis is pretty great. This is called Revenge of the Cybermen. Revenge of the Cybermen is not great. But we're 7 seasons away from that, or 8 seasons away from that, so let's just not worry about that at all. The story basically opens up on the planet of Telos. Now, the planet Telos. It's, some archaeologists, they land in their little rocket ships, and they're basically intent on discovering these Cybermen, and the leading man, I believe his name is something Klieg. For some reason I'm blanking on his first name, but I know his first name starts with an E, or at least an I. Anyway, Evan Klieg? Edward Klieg? I don't know. Someone smarter than me, put it in the comments. Or someone with better attention span than me, put it in the comments. Well, it turns out he's a little bit, slightly, just a touch insane. He kills many people because it's only logical, and he tries to harness the power of the Cybermen, trying to work in tandem with them as a team. And eventually he actually grabs a ray gun to sort of keep them in line, in check, like a cyber gun, it's called. How creatively. Anyway, the story itself is it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong, and except for a pretty racist kind of caricature, they have this. They just have a racist stereotype of a strong man who's very dumb, and he's basically like a servant to another woman, and he grunts like this. He only says a little bit of words, and he speaks in broken English like this, and he just lifts everything around. So however, in the end, he does nobly sacrifice himself to ward off the Cybermen after he gets an electric surge trying to shut the door on their tomb and seal them off again for the foreseeable future, but hopefully forever. But there are tons of other Cybermen stories, so we know this is not going to happen. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, it's an archaeological team where they're on Telos. They're trying to reawaken the Cybermen, and basically throughout the story, the Doctor and his companions, the new companion Victoria, and Waterfield, and for Jamie, who's been there for a while and will be there for a while longer. They basically land on Telos, and they're working with the archaeologists. They're trying to examine them. Of course, the Doctor does the normal Faith Under Siege thing, where he goes, "Why wouldn't anyone listen to me? These things are dangerous." And then they're like, it'll be okay. It's like, no, you think I'm crazy. I promise I'm not crazy. Just please seal them off. You're mad. And of course, no one believes him, and that does not go well for a lot of teams. Like, not a lot of team members make it out alive. Actually, like 3 or 4 of them actually die, which is fairly tragic. That's the main story. In parts 3 and 4, that's when the Cybermen are effectively woken up, and that's when the logician of the team, the leader, the insane one, he actually just flips. I mean, he was always a little bit weird, but like he completely flips a switch, and like he kills many people. He's shooting people. He's like basically an insane murderer, a mad scientist, if you will, and he's trying to work with the Cybermen, but of course that doesn't go very well. They're doing their normal plan, where they take people and they try to convert them. It's a pretty fun premise. Overall, this story is pretty great. It's supposed to take place in like the way distant future. And that's not distant future, like the fact that I'm an enemy of the world takes place in 2018. And that's supposed to be a distant future. I'm saying like distant, like 500 years ago. I'm not like 500 years from a long time from now. Like 5.5 years from now. So I'm not even sure television will exist as a medium then. Much less will Doctor Who survive in this current form. Anyway, that's the story. Overall, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Not nearly as good as Matt Smith or some older fans seem to think it is. But, it's pretty great. Like, part 4 somewhat drags. That's my hot take. Let me know what you think of the story in the comments. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell down there. I don't know which corner it is. I'm going to point to the center. Down there. And so that you never miss one of these. Like I said, I do something every day, so you don't want to miss any reviews. I'll catch you guys in the next one.